Hello. I had a little extra time today after recording Dino Crisis 2, so I'm gonna be doing some Duke 3D recording anyway as well. Sorry about my bad grammar there. I'm tired. I'm trying to talk without really thinking. Well, anyway, Duke 3D is it's one of the most famous retro shooters. For good reason. It's really good. It's the first sort of first-person shooter that I can think of that had a lot of like environments that were kind of realistic, in the sense that they looked like they could be real places, unlike Doom, which was like all space stations and stuff that was, you know, it was all fictional looking. This is the first game that I know of that had like stages that looked like they could be places in the real world. Which is the intention of like the map designers, but you know. Anyway, this is a sort of source port called Megaton Edition. It's a commercial source port. I believe it's Devolver Digital makes it. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know who makes it. But anyway, you can buy this on Steam. It's usually pretty cheap. It's really cheap on sale, and it's you can buy like a pack that has this and Shadow Warrior in it, and I would highly recommend that because they're both fairly good games. They use the same engine. I think it's called the build engine. Anyway, we'll get started. We'll play it on Let's Rock. That's normal.
Let's rock. Damn, those alien bastards are gonna pay for shooting up my ride.
Anyway, I played this back when it was new. You'd be like, man, are the voice is really always that bad? Yes. Yes, they were always this bad. It feels a little weird about the mouse sensitivity. Probably used to playing Descent. Where like freaking character turned like at the speed of slow because it's a ship. Again, I'm sorry for the huge content drought. There's no content drought on my channel as of while I'm recording this, but I guarantee you that I'm not gonna have Descent up anytime soon, or Dino Crisis 2. And this game's probably ages away from being up on my channel as recording it right now. Like I said, November's here. All the good games are literally like a week away. So I'm probably going to be playing a lot of those with what spare time I do have instead of recording videos. I will do what I can to try to get some of this stuff uploaded, but I wouldn't expect some of this stuff. This stuff's probably going to be like a couple weeks after Fallout 4 is out, maybe. So what's there to really say about Duke Nukem? It's a very simple game, but it's a lot more advanced than, say, like Doom. Don't take it the wrong way. Doom has advantages over this game. It's a lot faster-paced game. It's a really balanced game. Duke Nukem can be a really fast-paced game because it's an old game, and all old games can a lot of them can be really quick. So I don't know where all the secrets are, so I won't be getting all the secrets. This is actually one of the first games I think of that actually has working mirrors. They are not actually a mirrored room that copies things. This actually is like a mirror, which is pretty crazy. Like if you were to no-clip through it, there's just a wall. It's a solid wall behind it. It's pretty cool. The actual like amount of like tech in this game is actually very impressive for when it was made. It has like some physics to it, like enemies fall down when they die. If they're up in the air, they go splat and stuff. I mean, there's actually quite a bit of stuff in here, and you'd be like, well, that's not that impressive. Well, it was when it was made, in my opinion. Looking back on it, I'm like still impressed by what they did. Oh yeah, heads up, this game does have some adult imagery in it. It's not too bad. You're not gonna see like any naked women or anything. Well, there are naked women, but they're censored. I won't worry about it. Duke Nukem's kind of known for that kind of stuff. Don't take it the wrong way. It was never. Don't get offended by it, is what I mean. So difficulty in this game actually doesn't really beef up the enemies, as far as I know, but it does make there be a lot more of them. So if you can't tell, there's these cracks in the wall. Those signify a destructible wall. There's Duke's awful voice acting that everyone remembers so fondly. He's got really bad voice acting, I'm sorry.
Don't have time to play with myself.
So Duke Nukem 1 and 2 are actual games that a lot of people have never even heard of, but they're like old platformer games. It's kind of funny. Duke was originally a platformer. But this is the game I think Duke is most well known for. This game is really popular. And it's popular for, like I said, like a good reason. Just junk on my keyboard. Had like a twist tie from like a loaf of bread on the keyboard for some reason. Oh well. Anyway, Duke's really well known just for this game essentially.
Groovy. Come get
It's it's not a super early first-person shooter. I'm not sure if the copyright was in the main menu. It probably was, but this is not the most old like first-person shooter. It's not like Doom, but it is a really good first-person shooter and it made a lot of innovation for the time. I mean, there were games before this that did most of the stuff that it did, but doing them all at the same time and doing them so well as it did. If you heard a beep, that's my setting a timer, so I don't spend too long playing this, because I actually do have things I need to get done today. But I had a lot of free time left over from Dino Crisis. I finished that game a little sooner than I thought I would. I remembered that game being kind of short. But not that short. I won't talk about Dino Crisis 2 all day, I swear. So this is one of those games that, while I feel it has a lot of gameplay like mistakes when they built it, they don't really particularly matter because the game is just super duper fun. This game has been out for so long and it is just still fun to this day. Like I can play this game to death. It might be a good idea for me to quick save. I forgot how you quick save. F7? Okay. Anyway, I don't intend to save scum, but death makes you restart the whole level, so that can be quite time wasting. So I will be quick saving, especially if I get in like a situation where I have really bad health, or if I'm near something at insta kills, like explosions or something. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to replay the level like 3 times and have a really long freaking Let's Play series of me playing the same level multiple times. This lever switch just brings down a Duke must dive sign. Duke doesn't want that shit out in the streets, so. I'm not one of those people that plays this game super fast-paced. I like to kind of take my time with it and enjoy it, because, you know, it's just a fun game. You can actually activate the switch through the wall and skip the key, I believe, for speedrunning. I don't believe it works in Megaton Edition, but I could be wrong. You can blow up this sewer and go down there, but there's another way in there we'll be taking later. Just a little secret. Like I said, this game was really clever back in the day. I mean, this is like the game that invented the vent shaft. So this is what I'm talking about, like advanced technology. Like, there's actually some freaking like physics, like for like the billiard balls and stuff. It's like, really? I mean, who would have actually come up with that? It's kind of funny. I have no idea what it looks like when they I don't know what that would look like in the level editor, but I imagine it's a freaking jerry-rigged mess.
Hail to the king, baby.
So the story of Duke Nukem is aliens invade and they want to steal Earth's babes. That's pretty much the story. And Duke kicks their asses. And no offense to Jill Valentine, but this hooker always reminds me of Jill. I don't know why. Not saying Jill's a hooker, but it looks just like her. Got the same like clothing colors and everything. Same hair color, same hairstyle. It's funny. Might actually even be a reference to Jill. I don't think it is though. Yeah, strip club.
Cool.
Oops. Not so good at aiming right now. Headshots don't matter in this game, they're not important. Because enemy hitboxes don't register like body parts. This was back before those days. You either hit the enemy or you don't hit the enemy. That's how games worked back then. Didn't matter where you shot them, as long as you hit them.
Come get some. Hail to the king, baby.
Can't even hardly hear the voice acting, it's so quiet. He said, we got you now, Nukem, we're gonna fry your ass, if you care. So the idea is that Duke's been captured, and yeah, now he's had his weapons taken away, and he was in an electric chair, and he just got out, because they didn't tie him down or something. So now we gotta get to use the mighty boot. We can use both of them. Go for a nice stroll. Shit. Shit. We might actually die. Because I was goofing around doing stupid shit with the mighty boot. Okay, we got armor, that's alright. So, we're gonna go out through that window, but first we need to make sure we have a gun that doesn't suck. No offense to the pistol, but it sucks. You see what I mean about this game, like, its advantages it has over, like, say, Doom. Where, like, the levels are just, they're more real looking. They look like real places. Here's a church. Doom kind of had some of that stuff showing up in, like, some of the later sort of fan-made things. Like, TNT Evolution and stuff like that. We'll probably do Doom on this channel at some point as well, because it's pretty good. There we go, we got ourselves a crucifix thing. Stupid jetpack enemy.
That's one Doom Space Marine.
Yeah, the infamous Doom reference. I'll use this for now. I do believe this is one of the few few games that actually has overlapping level design. Well, it's one of the earliest ones I can think of. So, like, you can have a floor above another floor in this game. Doom actually didn't have that, believe it or not, if you're not well acquainted with Doom. Doom was like, it was actually a 2D game that pretended it was 3D. And it was really clever how they did it, too. So this is the example of a place where I'd quick save, because it's really easy to get like squished by these gears and junk. Well, it's not really easy to. I used to do it as a kid a lot, but that's not really a problem I have as an adult. I guess because I'm just not stupid, but... But you can expect to say kind of the same thing as Descent. You find keys, you find the level exit, you move on. There are some boss fights in this game. There's more than Descent, which doesn't say much, but... This game is literally just like a classic. And since we're still early in the game, I'll do the thing I always do where I recommend it and say, you know, if you want to give this game a try, do it before you watch me play the whole thing. This game's totally worth it. This game is fantastic.
Hail to the king.
You honestly can't go wrong with Duke Nukem. I mean, unless you just don't like shooters. If you don't like shooters, or if you're one of those people that's just really turned off by old graphics, then I guess maybe I can understand. But for the most part, you'll have a good time with this game. Just remember to a quick save now and then, because there's no autosaves in this game, and so if you die, you restart the whole flipping stage. You press this and it makes monster noises. The idea is that's like the thing for like telling the guards to let you through, essentially. But there's just freaking like pig guys running it, so they're just... I'm gonna use my rocket launcher for killing these turrets, and you're like, why would you do that? But the thing is that the rocket launcher is actually the most accurate weapon I have right now. That's why I'm using it. Because it actually goes... What the heck? What is going on? Am I seeing things, or is this rocket just clipping right through these? That's weird. Screw it, we'll use the shotgun. Usually I use the rocket launcher to kill those just because it's really accurate. And I don't have to worry about getting up close to kill these. This game's got interesting music. It's not the best music in the world, but it's memorable. And it's okay. It's not, when I think of like good video game music, Duke Nukem doesn't immediately come to mind, but it's got pretty decent music for when it was made. Or not for when it was made, there's no such thing as for when it was made for music, essentially, aside from like styles. Because, I mean, quality's quality, no matter when you make something. So you'd say, well, this game isn't very high quality now, but back when it was made, this was pretty damn good. This was kind of in the old pioneering days of video games as well. They weren't horribly popular, and it'd be like every time someone would like, if somebody did something bad, like, you know, like Columbine shooters or some shit, they would immediately say, well, they play Duke Nukem, so they obviously are lunatics that kill people because they play Duke Nukem. Because, you know, I'm a lunatic that kills a lot of people because I play Duke Nukem, right? Now, this might be a little too deep for a Let's Play thing to get into, but what makes a person normal, or makes them a psychopath, or makes them whoever they are in general, there's a million factors that contribute to that. Because the world is not as black and white as people seem to think it is, or wish it was. People just love to say, well, all of life's problems are because people aren't all vegetarians or some shit. It's like, you see, Adolf Hitler, he ate meat, so obviously meat's bad. But you know what else Adolf Hitler did? He breathed air. And I bet you breathe air, you know? You know what makes people crazy? A million things make them crazy. Tons of stuff over the course of their whole life adds up and makes them who they are. What makes me who I am? My whole life makes me who I am. There's a million things that make me who I am. So I wish people would And it's the same thing with politics. I won't be discussing politics in here, but it's the same thing with like a lot of that stuff like that. It's like, quit acting like there's just two sides to everything. You know, the world isn't black and white. There's a lot to the world. Most stuff is gray. Almost everything that happens in existence is just has a million things contributing to it. A million things contribute to something happening that is now one in a million things that contribute to something else. It's like the world's a complex thing. Anyway, that's a bit of a rant I have all the time. I get kind of tired of people pretending like, I don't know, that the world's a simple place. It's not. You can't point exactly at one thing and say what caused it. It's like when someone has the unfortunate luck of, you know, like getting cancer or something. It's like, you know why they got cancer? Because they got unlucky. There was a lot of things that probably contributed to it, but no, it's not because they sat around eating junk food. It's not entirely because it was hereditary. There's usually just a lot of stuff that contributes to just stuff like that, you know? Speaking of cancer, cancer can go like, pardon my language, but cancer can go like a dick. I keep like seeing people I like die. It's really pissing me off. It's part of the reason I've been taking up speedrunning, is maybe I can get involved in one of the like marathons that people do for charity to try to get, you know, funds for cancer research. I hate to bring it up because you know, like, whether or not you're a fan of Total Biscuit, you know, he survived his cancer, and then it came back, and it's a really serious form of that now, and well, it's serious. We'll just say that. If I ever met TB, I would never bring it up, but I hope he fights. He says he's gonna fight hard, and I hope he does, because I want to see someone kick that shit's ass. Despite what doctors say of only there being a couple of years left or something, it's like, you know, screw that. He can live a freaking full life if he wants. And you could say, well, just wanting to live isn't enough. It doesn't stop your body from shutting down. Well, you're wrong in the sense that if you want to live, you can tough it out and you can try to live, and you can have a much better chance as someone that just gave up. But anyway, that's enough depressing talk about stuff like that. I don't know why I'm talking about shit like that in the middle of Duke Nukem. I was just bringing up the whole thing. I was just saying, I just don't like how people look at the world like it's black and white. There's so much more to it.
Who wants some?
That's kind of why like things like video games exist, you know. They're not just an artistic statement or here to teach morals or do something like that. They're here to take our mind off of the real world, because the real world can sometimes be kind of an awful place. Because the real world is what it is, and it doesn't play around. Whether it's being really nice to you or really bad to you, it doesn't play around. It's the real world. So that's why books exist, that's why movies exist, that's why television exists. It's entertainment, it keeps your mind off your life and some of the problems in it. I didn't mean to kill that lady, but I don't know. Whatever. And if you ever really want a game that'll take your mind off shit, this is the kind of game to do it. Duke Nukem is just, it's a really stupid and mindless game, and it is really fun to play. And I would recommend it wholeheartedly. It'll probably take a while to record this whole like Megaton edition. It has a lot of expansions in it, and it's really long. I probably will play through the whole thing because it just is that good. I mean, oh god, these freaking barrels! I didn't want to kill it and hurt its feelings. Who the heck's over here? What are you doing? So enemies look kind of flat there because they are flat. It's sprites. You see that kind of thing a lot more often with Megaton Edition. But the normal Duke Nukem was like that too. Megaton Edition is not a perfect like source port, by the way. It does have issues. We might see some at some point. So it is not perfect, as a heads up, but it is really good. Like, don't feel afraid to buy it because I said that. It is a really good port, and it's probably the best port as far as I know. There's another one that's called like E-Duke or something that a lot of people like. I don't know much about that port, but a lot of people defend it to the death and say it's better than this one. And I've already bought this one. It's what I'm used to, so I use it anyway. I would do kind of stand corrected. I do believe this game does have autosaves that they put in for this version, but they're only at the beginning of each stage, which is can be a bit long depending on what stage you're in. So if you die near the end of like a really long level, it's a bit annoying. So the guns in this game aren't horribly balanced, but they are really fun to use. If you want a game that has really balanced weapons and is like this, you play Shadow Warrior. Every weapon has a use in that game, and if you just use the same weapon all the time, you're gonna get your ass kicked. Because they all kind of have their own situational uses. Well, you don't get your ass kicked if you're playing on a lower difficulty or something. It's not saying it's a hard game or anything, it's not. I'm just saying the weapons have a little more finesse to them than they do in Duke. Duke, it's like, you blast somebody, they die. That's the game. Oh, fun fact, if you dive down in this green, the water's green instead of blue. A quirk of the engine, I guess. Is there someone else in here? Yep. Let's switch to this because we're got a lot of ammo to burn. No, I don't have to kill all this shit, but I just am, because that's the whole point of playing Duke Nukem, is to kill aliens. I apologize if there's like I have no idea what I just said there, but I do apologize if there's bad audio quality. When I'm underwater, the underwater sound effects are a bit warped because if there's supposed to be like, oh, you're underwater. The same thing is kind of done on Crisis 2 underwater section. The audio might be really weird and low quality because it's strange audio. So I have two favorite weapons in this game, pretty much the shotgun and the machine gun thingy. I've known to use the freeze thrower now and then when we get to that. But you don't have. But you spoiled it. You spoiled. There's a freeze thrower. That grenade. See that grenade like went through the world. That's a glitch. Not something you see very often. But anyway, that's not really a spoiler because the weapons on this game aren't spoilers. They aren't horribly exciting or anything. I mean, use them to kill stuff. That's all you say if there's to say about them. I really do respect the Duke Nukem like graphic style. We'll get into this probably. I'll talk about it a lot when we get to Duke It Out in DC expansion, especially the Smithsonian stage in that expansion. I love that stage. Like the amount of like detail and just the fun of like that was put into that stage. Like you could tell the developers had a good time making that stage. It's really detailed. It's really big. It's got a lot of just cool stuff going on in it. This is a fun game to play, and you can tell that the developers really loved what they were doing when they made these stages. I don't have my jetpack. I was gonna go see what's up in some of those waterfalls. Oop. But forgot how fast you have to move for that. As you can see, the pistol isn't horribly accurate. Oop. I'm not very horribly accurate either. which makes it even worse. I don't remember how you get up there. I know you can if you jump just right. There we go. Get some health. But I mean, if you kill like an enemy above like flowing water and conveyors, like their bodies move along with it and stuff. I mean, it's just all sorts of like little physics touches that I don't remember there being a horribly large amount of in like something like Doom. I'm not talking down the Doom. I'm never talking down the Doom. Doom is a fantastic game as well. We'll definitely be playing it. It's also older than this game. And what they accomplished with that game, they have a completely different kind of technical achievement with that game. Oop. That game is a technical marvel in a completely different way than this one is. I'm just gonna blow that sucker up. I don't have time for his crap.
Secret level.
Yeah, secret level. I won't be meeting par times because I take my time with the stages. Sometimes I get lost too, but that's not usually the case. I usually know my way around. I've played these games quite a few times. This is back in the 90s. You know, when you're the 90s kid. Back when you didn't have a million games and you would play the same one over and over and over and over to death. Or as kids are just more easily amused maybe, and I don't remember. It's hard to tell why I played this game over and over and over again. I can almost do it in like today. I mean, I get like even as an adult, I can almost play this game every day. It's pretty good. It's just barely falls short of keeping my interest. Like an example of a game that does keep my interest would be Freedom Planet. It somehow does it. It's a mystery. I won't talk about it too much because I know I already have videos of it everywhere. But I love that game. It's good. I already plugged the hell out of it at the end of Dino Crisis 2 though. This game is deathmatch as well. You can play deathmatch with other players. I believe it works pretty flawlessly. You just go join a server and you play right now with the Steam version. That's back where we came. I think we have to go up here. Do we have a jetpack? We do not. If you have a jetpack, there's like stuff up there you can get, I believe. Wait, where'd I get an RPG? Was it just sitting here? Oh well. Whatever. Alright, here. So there's a big rocket someone made. Somebody took all day probably making that. Someone at 3D Realms. I haven't actually played Duke Nukem Forever. Can anyone tell me if that game is worth playing? Like, I heard it's... A lot of people say it's really awful, but I have a feeling it was just... Is the game... If someone just watches this, you know... Someone who's played Duke Nukem Forever, could you tell me if the game is actually that bad, or is it just like the people had... Like, their expectations were so high that they got shattered? Kind of like, you know, how Half-Life 3 is going to be a good game, but it's not going to be like the best game ever, and people are going to lose their shit, and they're going to be like, it's the worst game ever because it didn't meet my expectations. Because, I mean, I never really expected Duke Nukem Forever to be an amazing game, but I kind of thought it might be alright. I mean, is it at least alright? I own it, I'm just wondering if it's worth installing. Because there's a lot of games on my Steam I haven't played either, and it's just like, is it worth playing Duke Nukem Forever, or should I just skip it and just go play something else? Of course, none of this really matters, because in like a week I'll be doing like Fallout 4 and junk. I will not be doing Let's Plays for that game. I will be maybe at some point, but not right off the bat. I will be doing my first playthrough probably on my own time, just for fun. because when you're recording these Let's Plays, you have to talk to people and stuff, and it's just like, that's not how I like to sit around and play my games most of the time. I need to be in a mood to Let's Play something to Let's Play it. And like I said, I Let's Play to share games I love with people, so they can see them and maybe get interested in them and like them too. You can actually squish yourself here somehow. I don't remember how you do it. If you like jump right, you go. I'm not sure why the missile just blew up instead of launching. I guess because Duke Nukem's doesn't really know how to launch a rocket like that. Snoop Dukem. I don't feel like shooting you guys with bullets. They're just gonna get blown up. I'm probably gonna do is just record a bunch of Let's Plays like this, and I'll just do a mass upload one day, and then I'll just release one every I'll set the video to public every couple of days. I'll have a new one. So there's definitely gonna be a content drought for a while. You're probably already through it if you're seeing this, though. Give it some time, and what? There's a gun up there? I never noticed that. I saw like a shadow or something. It's weird. But yeah, I'll probably upload a video like every 2 days or something. Once I decide to get everything uploaded, I'll just start releasing stuff every couple days, starting with like Descent. And then Dino Crisis, and then this, and maybe something else. We'll see. I'm just looking at it. It's like my good old friend the Saguaro. I live where I live. We have lots of Saguaros, and that's not an accurate representation of how big they are. They're a lot bigger. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. It's hard to tell Duke's size. If he's like a big 6 foot tall man, they might be realistic. Saguaros are huge, by the way. If you've like never been in the desert. And you see like a little cactus saguaro on a postcard or something, like they're not little at all. They're huge cactus. Like if they fall on your house, like your house is like screwed. We actually used to have one in our front yard, and it fell on the neighbor's trailer, and it just bounced off, which was like extremely lucky for both us and the neighbor. Because those suckers are full of water, and they weigh like a ton. Yeah, it might be about realistic size. They can be bigger than that, though. They're a lot less perfect looking in real life, though. Sometimes they don't have arms. Sometimes they have a ton of little arms. They're really weird. This is an example of, like, I think this is like a 2D object or something, so I can't really say it's an example of like terrain above terrain, but Duke definitely has terrain above terrain in it. So you can have like it's a little more advanced. It's more advanced than Doom. Ooh. It also has fall damage, but luckily it's not very big. Ow. Anyway, cacti. They're pretty cool. San Andreas full. So I talk about this game being kind of silly with references. This game is infamous for being silly. I have to say this is one of the better like port jobs they've done for a retro game. Like, I mean, they redid like the HUD to be HD and stuff. And they made sure it can run at all the right resolutions. It's not just some DOS box trash like a lot of companies release. This game comes with a DOS box trash version too. It's funny. It's like in case you wanted the purest like DOS box. I mean, if you're a speedrunner, I said a spear runner for second, third, but if you're a speedrunner, I don't know if speedrunners have categories for doing Megaton Edition or non-Megaton Edition, but I mean, this game does come with Duke Nukem Classic, which is like a DOS box version that just boots up off the go. No offense to DOS box, it's great, it's amazing being able to play old games again, but having like a source port like this is just so much better. I know like speedrunners for like Doom, like using a source port is like a no-no. It's probably the same for Duke 3D as long as it's like, I'm sure Megaton Edition is legitimate. That's a secret teleporter. Megaton Edition is probably considered legit since it's like a commercial thing, and they have like the license and all that. I don't know why you wouldn't like Megaton Edition. It's got the modern control scheme of the first-person shooter, rather than the old retro version, which is like arrow keys and hitting controlled fire and stuff like that. Oh, I screwed up. You actually have to look out this window to cause that to happen, or you are kind of stuck. Duke Nukem is a pretty hard game to get lost in, but occasionally there's something like that that's like, what? Who came up with that? Some shrunk, by the way, if you're wondering what this is. You're tiny, you can go through holes in the wall and stuff. I was just checking that secret for stuff. Lava doesn't hurt you if you have good boots, guys. Lava is it's just one of the funniest things when it comes to like video games. They use it everywhere. It's very like tropey. It's just like everyone's got lava. Every video game's got freaking lava somewhere, and it's like I'm not gonna say developers don't understand how lava works. They probably do. They're just, for gameplay reasons, it's there. It's like, don't step in it, it's lava. But lava is like, just being near lava is like dangerous. Like, it cooks you. Because if you don't know what like lava is, it's basically just rock that is really, really hot. So it's like a liquid, essentially. It's just like, it's just molten rock, basically. And it is very, very, very hot, and it gives off a lot of heat, and just being like right here, like Duke would have been like cooking alive and dying.
Holy shit.
Oh no. Boobs. And sorry if it's hard to see in some of these places. I kind of have the brightness. I try to have the brightness up enough so you can see without lighting, but I'm not going to use the night vision goggle because I'm lazy. What you're seeing is what I'm seeing, by the way, so if you can't really see, it's because your monitor brightness is down or something. Because I can actually see. Not horribly well, but I can. I haven't saved in a while. I'll probably do that right now, actually. I'll do it in the next stage too. Oh yeah, my game lags a bit when I save them. Hopefully that's not going to desync the audio or do something weird. If worst comes to worst, I'll just record all this. This is some of the fastest parts of the game. secret. Okay, so we're gonna save here because there's a boss fight here that is actually kind of tough. Actually, I'll save here. So we have to fight our first overlord. I think this is a special overlord. He's different from the others. He's got more health, I believe. He's a lot bigger. He's using stock sound effects that you hear in a lot of stuff. He hits pretty hard if you're standing in the open, so that's why I'm like kind of being crouched down and stuff. I'm kind of taking cover a bit. Those are grenades. There we go. Oh, we skipped the cutscene. Unfortunate. Well, you can look up the cutscene somewhere if you want. Yeah. Alien says like, "Who are you?" or something, and Duke blows its brains out with a shotgun. And it's really simplistic and crappy looking, but it's also some really early CGI that I remember you had to like do some shenanigans to get installed on your computer back in the day, or you had to have the disc in at a certain time for it to play. So that's Duke Nukem, that's it. Okay, we're done. No, I'm just kidding. Back in the day, with old retro shooters, they used to split the game up into sections. So now, to play the next part, I hit New Game and I'd click on Lunar Apocalypse, essentially. But anyway, the reason they did this is usually, for example, like LA Meltdown would be free and the other three would cost money. And it wasn't like DLC, like, don't take it like that. LA Meltdown would have been free, like, as in, the game was shareware. Back in the day, they had shareware, where basically they would mail the game around for free and you could play it, but it would only be like the first episode. So if you wanted the full game, you'd have to buy it. You'd like send them money or something to an address and they'd mail you the game on like a floppy drive or some shit. There were some stores where they sold them as well. Like retail gaming was pretty small back in the day. You get them through PC Gamer and catalogs and junk like that sometimes as well. But anyway, shareware was a big thing. Doom had it, where the first episode was free. I knew a lot of people had the first episode of Doom, but not the rest of the game. I think The Birth was re-released at a later point. It was like a free update or something. I don't know. It wasn't part of the main game. But anyway, I'm done recording for now. I'll pick this up with Lunar Apocalypse at a later time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for walking. Well, anyway, thanks for watching for now. Okay, on to Lunar Apocalypse next time. Hello. Let's get the show back on the road. Let's rock.
Nobody steals our chicks and lives.
So this episode takes place in space. Let me adjust my mic a bit. I think it might be too close to my mouth. You're gonna hear my breathing regardless, but I'd rather just quiet down a bit. Sorry. Ears are all itchy, sorry. Maybe there's a secret up here. Yeah. I think you're meant to find it from the other direction. Oh, we have a new enemy. They're like chain gunners, kind of. They're not as bad as like Doom chain gunners. So I actually think that this is like, this chapter in particular is one of the weaker parts of the game. It's a cool chapter, but it's got one of my least favorite enemies in the game, and they'd absolutely go nuts with it, and it's awful. And I'm not talking about the chain gunners. Chain gunners are fine. or lizard people, whatever they are. You'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. There's a lot of them. So if you're wondering, these like these switchamabob things are like basically passcodes to open doors, and there's nowhere to actually find these in the level. You just have to guess them, and there's generally not many combinations. Oop! I didn't realize this went down. Anyway, we need a key down here anyway, I guess. Do we have a jetpack? We do not have a jetpack. Sorry, I'm like kind of brain farting right now. I'm like really tired. I'm not really tired, I'm just like I'm wide awake at the same time. I just woke up. What the heck is this elevator doing? Elevator, please. I feel like I'm missing a jetpack somewhere. I guess we're gonna miss some secrets. We're missing like what's supposedly I think the biggest. Oh yeah, there's the enemy I don't like. They're like self-destruct droids or something. They're really dumb, and they use them a lot in this chapter. I don't remember what I was saying. But anyway, we missed like a Devastator weapon or whatever, which is fine. I mean, I don't usually use it very much anyway. Shoots like mini rockets like a machine gun. Yeah, I'm not a fan of these enemies. They take a lot of damage and they just blow up and hurt you. Oh, it's a freaking turret.
Cool.
Not sure how you're actually meant to fight these. They're kind of shitty no matter how you fight them. I think just letting them suicide on you is actually probably the fastest way to kill them. Rockets kill them in one hit, but rockets are hard to hit them with because they actually will dodge rockets. Oh, here's the freeze thrower. You can freeze people with it and then shatter them. It's not a horribly fantastic weapon. It's alright. Okay, so now we can get the... Probably have a chain gun. What did I say about them going apeshit with these? Yeah, a guy spawns in there for some reason, I'm not sure why. Did they come out of here? Oh, I've never known about this. Huh. That's something new every day. Okay, so these are the alien rip-off things. Some people are actually really afraid of these. Basically, if they touch you, they crawl on your face and start chewing on you. I don't know if you'll see it there. And if you attack, they die. So as long as you're like just constantly attacking, they're no threat at all.
Hail to the king, baby.
Here we have a naked lady. She's tastefully censored.
I'm gonna put the smack dab on your head.
The idea is that there's supposed to be force fields. I'm not sure why there isn't one there. I guess you get sucked out into space and die horribly if that were the case. Was up pretty late last night, just playing freaking Warcraft 3. Game is still pretty darn fun. We might play that at some point on this. Maybe even custom maps, I don't know. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah. Warcraft 3 is pretty good. We might play it someday. So of course they spawned a damn suicide drone somewhere. Cause why not? They absolutely love these damn things in this chapter. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, so you're wondering what the hell that was? That was actually the enemy submerging and re-emerging from the water like 100 times a second. That's most likely a problem with this Sport. I don't recall them ever doing that in the original, but who knows? Like, no game is perfect, so there's a pretty good chance that there were bugs like that even in the original. Oh, I missed some shit underwater. Oh well, whatever. I'm not being like a completionist anyway. See what I mean about them, these enemies? They're everywhere. I don't know what is with the freaking 3D realms and those suicide drones. They just love the damn things. Guess what's in this room? Suicide drones, of course, because why not? So rockets can work against these. It's just kind of a crapshoot. Okay, better heal in case more explosions kill me. Something down here. I think there's a card key down here. Oh wait. Where did he come from, I wonder? Yeah, there's a card key in here. I feel like there was a way to open this thingy, and like there was like a atomic health or some garbage in it. Something that no one really cared about, but it was there. Where is he? Again, sorry for not saying much. There isn't really a whole lot to say. Duke has had a lot of games, and a lot of them are not very good. We'll just leave it at that. None of them were quite as phenomenal as Duke 3D anyway. I mean, I enjoyed playing a lot of Duke's games, but none of them were really ever came close to being this game. There's just a certain finesse to this game's like level design in particular. I really love the level design. It's just, there's some of the most beautiful levels I've seen in the game. When you consider like when they were made, they're really cool looking. They have really good ideas. This is what I'm talking about. Like, well, they look really blocky and kind of trashy. This actually looks like it could be a space station. You know, I mean, this could be some kind of space station. It's got force fields to keep the air in and stuff. I mean, it's like one of those first games that like they try to design like level environments that look like real places. I've said that like way too many times, but it's really what I consider to be the defining feature of Duke 3D. Sorry for clearing my throat out again. It's just kind of phlegmy or something. Ow. I'm gonna go down here because I think there's an atomic health. There's a bunch of them. Atomic healths are like 50 health if you're wondering what they are, and they can go over 100. So you can go to 200. So we heard an Overlord aggro somewhere. Explosive suicide drones. Why do they exist? I didn't actually know that guy was there. I was kind of expecting a suicide drone. He was like in the ceiling. I think it's worth noting that this is one of those games where like it's really easy to get squished by stuff. Like doors will squish you, anything that moves can squish you. It's really easy to get squished and be dead. And I'm not sure, I think it's just like a problem mostly with the engine. It's not like a source port only problem, because this is something I remember happening in the original as well. I remember dying quite a bit to just like randomly getting squished. I'm gonna actually start quick saving, just in case I die. I believe there's an Overlord over here somewhere, and they're pretty dangerous. Wait, what? Shit. It really pisses me off too, dude. Of course, suicide drone, because why not? I don't know what these enemies are really called. I just call them suicide drones, because that's their drone and they commit suicide on you. Kamikaze drone would probably be more appropriate, but... Okay, so this Overlord... Overlords have a huge weakness to where you can shrink them. That is by far the best way to kill an Overlord. There's... I don't need to be like a speedrunner that learns a bunch of advanced tactics to tell you that that is the best way to kill an Overlord. There's just no damn way that there's a faster way to kill them than that. Because it's an instant hit. I believe you can kill them with the expander as well, which is in this game but only shows up in like the final chapter, the birth or whatever. The expander is kind of a sub-weapon of the shrinker where you can... It's like kind of like a machine gun fire effect, and if you hit the enemy enough, depending on their health, they basically when you kill them with it, they grow really big and they splat, and they do like area of effect damage to all the nearby enemies. Oh great. So you may see those like, I'll go back and show it actually, the flickering thing on the wall, because I don't think I've showed them. They're a feature of this game. This game has security cameras. So basically when you press the switch, you'd hit this and you'd see, oh, that's at force field area, and the force field's off now. So that's kind of what they use to communicate, sort of like when you press a button, what it does. They also usually have a security camera nearby, and you'll go flip through all the cameras, and you'll see what changed. You actually see the camera. See, it's up there on the ceiling. But anyway, this will probably be not a bad spot to quick save, so I don't get splatted by this thing. Like that. I just wanted to show you. It's really easy to get splatted in this game. I'm not sure that this is the weapon of choice for confined quarters. This kinda is.
Holy cow.
It's a lot safer to use pipe bombs up close than rockets. Crap, ears all itchy. No idea why, it's kind of annoying. Can't it see I'm trying to play some video games here?
Want some?
See how these guys keep kind of taking to kind of dodge rockets. Rockets are really good at killing them. They're probably literally the way to go when it comes to getting rid of those drones, but... Ooh. Ow. That's why I don't like the automatic weapon changing thing. I should probably turn that off. So the shrink ray is actually a fantastic weapon, and I'm not using it very much because I kind of like saving its ammo. But, like, yeah, it's basically insta-kill for anybody. It's not quite insta-kill for overlords because of the fact that... I believe that's what they call overlords, I believe. I keep thinking of like StarCraft 2 overlords. But anyway, overlords are the big enemies with the chain gun and they can launch grenades and stuff. It was like basically the first boss. Okay, I need to go down there, I believe. But there's like a normal enemy version of him that you encounter fairly often, and you saw me squish one in the previous level. They have somewhat of a resistance to the shrink ray, or shrink gun, I'm not sure what the deal is, but sometimes you'll shoot them and they won't get shrunk. It's fairly common to have to shoot them a couple times to get it to work, but it's still easily the best way to kill them. This is an example of something that can squish you very easily. You can just like walk into it the opposite direction it's going and it will squish you. This is one of those games where you can like kind of clip into moving objects and splat. It's kind of reminiscent of Half-Life 1 in some ways. It's not quite as easy to get squished in Half-Life 1 as this game, but in Half-Life 1 is one of those games where you can get squished really easy. Texture looks funny there, like there's a hidden wall. I used to play a lot of Sven co-op. If anyone knows what that is, it's like a mod for Half-Life that made it multiplayer. Oh yeah, these things, these like slime things can eat other monsters, which is kind of handy. I didn't actually let them do that though, because I'm a jerk, I guess. Anyway, Sven Co-op was a mod for Half-Life that made it multiplayer essentially, and people would just make maps for it. It's a lot of fun. It's it's not quite as lively as it used to be. I think a lot of like the community's kind of gone for it. They're working on like a Steam version of it that you can just download it off Steam and it'll keep up to date or whatever. I'm like really thinking about getting that one. Jeez, ow. I don't like explosions in this game. They're kind of silly. They like follow you and shit. It's level design. They always explode in the same place, but it's just like some of the explosions are silly. Anyway, yeah, I used to play a lot of that Sven co-op, and it would be like, get out of the way. But some of the like the user-made maps for that game had some of like stuff they would put in there would have like a tendency to squish and kill people. Like you'd be riding on an elevator and somebody would suddenly get stuck inside like of a rail, and they would just splat on the way down an elevator. It'd be pretty funny. God. Ears so itchy. What the hell's going on? So, we're actually going to be playing this game for quite a while, because Duke Nukem actually has a lot of levels. It's a really long game. It has like 30 by default, I believe, and with the birth included, it's like 40, and Megaton Edition comes with all the expansions, which is like another, I don't know, 30 levels, so there's like 70 levels. This game has got a lot of content in it. I'm having so much trouble getting through that door, it's no big deal. I probably should be switching to the rocket for this guy, but... Where is he? Where the hell is that drone? Okay, we're gonna get out the medkit. So kind of one of the themes of these stages is blowing up these reactors. So we're back to playing Descent. Okay, these guys, I don't know what these are called anymore. They're like overseers or something, I don't know. They're, sorry about like itchy arms and stuff. Mosquito bites, I think. But anyway, yeah, those overseer things, they are kind of tough to fight unless you use the shrink rate. Oh, that was a really bad time to quick save. You can see the Earth. It's pretty cool. Now, I'm not gonna say I know where all the secret levels in this game are. No, I don't. I know where some of them are. I know where like 3 of them are. I don't know if that's all of them. I know I've stumbled into the secret area in the berth as well, but I don't remember where it is at this point.
I'm gonna get medieval on your asses.
I do know where the space one is. We'll get do that one for sure. I actually didn't know where it was till like a month ago, and I just accidentally found it. So you're wondering how people found all these secrets? Oh, this button need to press somewhere, I think. Yeah, okay. Basically, people would either just look over them by jumping at every wall and like clicking on every wall, or people would just accidentally stumble upon them. People would say, oh, that looks funny, and they would like jump at it or something, and they'd go through a wall. That is literally how people found stuff. Some secret areas are not quite as secret, like this one. You can see that one pretty easily out of the corner of your eye. So I like these levels, like I wasn't trying to trash talk the whole like Lunar Apocalypse episode or anything, but I'm really not a fan of the freaking drones they use every 2 seconds. They're kind of annoying. Speaking of drones. Shit. Go away. Ow. I would get all nostalgic and say I miss shooters like this, but I don't horribly miss them because they haven't really gone anywhere. They are still around, you just have to look. There actually are still quite a few shooters like this game that are just really fast-paced, no reloading and stuff. Like, I don't know if we'll ever play like any Serious Sam on here. We might do like the newest one or something, but like Serious Sam is basically just this.
Where is it?
Serious Sam's theme is usually lots and lots of enemies, but I don't think any of the games have had as many enemies as like the first and second encounter. Those ones had the most enemies. Like, Serious Sam 2 and 3 didn't really escalate till near the end of the game, which was kind of disappointing to me, because I kind of wish they were crazy right off the bat. But yeah, Serious Sam is very similar to this, and they still make games, as far as I know. Serious Sam BFE or whatever, the last one they made was not very long ago. It was just like a couple years ago or something, like 2 or 3, I don't know. It was a couple years ago, but it's not that old. So I assume Pro Team is still making more. So if you're looking for games that are kind of like this, definitely check out Serious Sam. If you're looking for like more retro ones, check out, yeah, the Serious Sam has older games too, but definitely check out like something like Quake. If you haven't played Quake by now, then yeah, you need to play Quake. Quake is like a classic. Quake is like kind of popular for being one of the first like speedrun games that people actually like did a lot of speedrunning of. It kind of started the whole craze in a way. I actually think like Metroid Prime was actually like one of the earliest speedrun games as well. It was one of the first games people did aside from Quake. Because SDA Speed Demos Archive was one of the, like, it was like the first community for speedrunning that I can think of being really big and popular. I don't know why I'm looking out there, I'm just, space is cool. But anyway, yeah, they were pretty much only Quake. And then they moved on, someone started doing some Metroid stuff and people thought it was cool, and then